virtualized manifestations of the table. But this great game of the mind has always taken place in our collective imaginations. Welcome to Alchemy RPG. Create interactive scenes and experience gameplay in an intuitive storytelling environment, meticulously designed to amplify cinematic immersion within the theater of the mind. Craft your worlds beyond words. Immerse yourself and your players in your creations with lore-rich articles, fully mechanized NPCs, and pre-made player characters. Effortlessly stream your tales directly from Alchemy, while onlookers cheer for your heroes on perilous paths of adventure. Discover a universe of immersive story worlds like never before, with unforgettable adventures ready to be had at the touch of a button. Breathe new life into your stories by harnessing the power of the Alchemy platform, a window into any world.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. We'll be getting started with Corpse Talk here in about 12 minutes. Get yourself something to drink, get yourself something to smoke, come into the room and get ready to help me kill none other than Spiggs 18, or Anthony as the ones who know him call him, as we get ready to murderize him as the Headless Knight. We need to get him 4 times tonight for the treasury that he has in store. Thank you to Monty Cook Games for bringing the prize support or raffle support for the treasury. We'll get into that a little bit later in the episode. But for everyone who's in the chat, yes, Streamloot's bot is, our Stream Elements bot is being a pain in the butt yet again today. I fixed it and it hates us, but don't worry, I have everything on the side ready to rock and roll. See you all here in about 10 minutes. For all of you in chat, what's on screen right now is from all the amazing people who have been on the show so far. These are different prizes that are going to be in the raffle at the end of the season. Right now, this is Delving Wood from Danny Grimes. Actually, hardwood tiles made for your dungeons at home. Fantastic for travel if you're looking to play with this stuff at conventions, or you're looking for something that's price efficient and will not break. This is the piece for you. Before that was good old Vasgrim. We had Brian on last, amazing gentleman with Creature Curations. Check out all of his stuff as well. You can see some links down below. And we'll be getting started here in about 7 minutes. For those who have been a part of our Creature Creation nights, you know that everybody who plays Streamloot cards, when your cards are used, they're applied to the monsters, traps, locked doors, bosses, and even gods from this mega aberrational dungeon world. And if any of those take down the Headless Knights, you are entered into a raffle for all the prizes that have been submitted from our wonderful guests on the show. So we'll get starting here, and I promise the prizes tonight may be some of my favorite ones so far. Oh yeah, did I mention that I got an extra crit question tonight? Thank you to Serving Hands for that golden legendary card. I hate to tell you this, Spiggs, but I don't think this is going to be an easy show. What you're seeing on screen right now are all the different Streamloot cards that have been made over the many seasons on Eric Frankhouse Presents. These are the ways that people interact with the shows. This show is an interview show, so there are no live shows, but feel free to use the Streamloot sub emojis or anything else during the show. And maybe one of those will pop up on screen. If not, they will for sure be in our social medias that go out later. Hey everybody, we're about ready to start. Get everything ready to go. Sit down. It's about to get real as we move into what may be my favorite interview so far. I actually get to talk to a close friend on this one. This isn't normal. Normally, I have to interview somebody and be semi-nice. There's no gloves tonight, boys and girls. This is gonna look like the Tyson fight. Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. Punch Out. Well, everybody, we know what time it is. It is time for Corpse Talk. If you have not been here before, this is a adult, late-night tabletop RPG talk show where I put people through a murderous dungeon, well, mega dungeon world that I have built along with audience members like yourself during Creature Creation Nights. Song right now is Holy Roller from Spirit Box. Yes, I paid for it. Yes, it's okay. And yes, it sets the tone for this show really well. I hope all of you are having a great night as I am happy to bring on board one of my dear friends I met in the tabletop industry back during Gen Con. Gosh, I think it's 5 years ago, pre-COVID years, before the Black Plague, we had met. And I met him and the two other CU boys, and we just hit it off immediately. Of course, there's probably some drinking involved because that seems to be how my conventions go, everybody. So without further ado, let's introduce one of the CU boys with a Z, because that only seems correct to me. He is an amazing GM, the poster boy for player intrusions, lover of cowboys and aliens, I'll ask him about that later, and an NY native, or New York City for those who don't know what that is. Anthony, Spiggs 18 from CU, is an amazing GM, runs one of the largest Discord communities I've seen for anything Cypher related. They built this thing from nothing up to, what are we at now, Anthony? Like almost 10K, 8K? What are you at right now? So near 8K. So he has a lot of children, a lot of mouths to feed, and at least 4 of them are legitimately his. Or at least that's what everybody at Cypher tells me. I'm happy to welcome on Anthony. Buddy, how are you doing today? Welcome to Corpse Talk, and we've been talking about doing this for quite some time.
I'm doing freaking excellent. I finally got a chance to chat with you on screen. You've been to our show. I've never been to yours.
I know. I've been talking about doing this show for years. Yeah. I wanted to do this, and finally everything lined up, and I got to talk with ALCHEMY, and they're like, hey, if you're going to do this, let us know. We're all in, and that's how we're kind of here today. We just merged together. I needed something that would let me do a big world that I wanted. So I know we've talked about the show, but for the audience members and the new people who are here, it's very simple. If you are a fan of things like late night talk shows, hot ones, it's like that, but like turn it up to rated R. And we're going to be playing my version of Mork Borg in my world built with the audience, with all the creatures, monsters, and traps you could ever want. And you're going to get actions, and you're also going to get questions. So we're going to start in that order. We're going to start, actually I take that back, we're going to start with questions. The first question I have for you to kind of kick off this interview is you have built a fairly large community with your two other friends. And building a community is time-consuming to start. And not only is it time-consuming, it's a huge leap of faith. What in the actual fuck were you all thinking when you decided to make a Discord for one company? Because when this started, I don't even know if like anything other than Cypher and Numenera was out yet, was it?
Numenera was. Cypher system just came out, and to be quite honest, it was an accident. It was a mistake. Me and Al, we were both me, Al, H and Albatross. For those that don't know, a couple of months later, we picked up Alpha Dean, which became the core. Me, Al, and Dean are the we're the foundation of Cypher Unlimited. But me and Al were both from New York City, and we were looking for a place to tell funny one-shots at. And we were on various different Discords. Oh. And we got kind of known as the kooky one-shot guys. Like, wherever we went, we were doing, like, crazy stuff with the Cypher system. So we were like, hey, let's start a Discord, take the 20, 30 people that enjoyed our games, and, we'll just run games for them on our server. Somehow, I think Al must have posted something on Reddit, or I posted something on Facebook. Mighty Cook Games discovered us. But they discovered us when we had like 40 or 50 members. Al could correct us. We might have anywhere between 50 to 100 members. And they started promoting us, and then the rest was history. Oh, wow. I told you the story, but dude, we literally went from 100 members to 1,000 overnight. It was like...
That's kind of wild, man. Like, having that kind of draw when, company is looking at you is a really different experience versus the three friends wanting to play games together, and you're known for running like quirky stuff. Yeah. I know that when we talked at Gen Con, when this all was, I think it all just kind of started for that first Gen Con.
The first Gen Con we met you, it was actually snowballing. Like, that was the first Gen Con that MCG wanted us to come down and officially, like, hey, you guys are doing great things. We want you to come down. And Al met you first.
Yes. Yeah.
We went to INGM. We met you at the INGM competition. And
then, my God.
Since we're both alcoholics, you bought me a beer, and then, like, the rest was history. I'm a cheap date.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a warm-up with but no. It's crazy. Like, we met doing this stuff, and it was afterwards we went to Lou Agresta, who ran Iron GM with Lou and Rome Barton. We went and met with them at this. It was really weird. It was like an old 50s diner area, and it was an industry party, which I love because it lets us get off the showroom floor a little bit and just kind of mingle, have fun, and let loose. It was on Saturday night, but it was always after Iron GM, and I would lose my voice. And I remember, I think all three of us stood out in that parking lot and talked to fucking sunup.
Yeah.
Like, it was long. It was super long. So, speaking of fun and being up to really late hours and not doing anything horrible, the last guest that was on, he didn't leave you in a good situation. He decided that the best thing to do was to leave you in the middle of escaping a boss. So boss monsters aren't the apex in this game, but they're high. A boss is right below gods. This group has made 2 gods and numerous bosses, and this is one of the bosses, and I'm going to bring us over to the map and showcase kind of what we're looking at here. But in the upper right-hand side, there is a area that I'm going to ping for you, and this is where you are. The boss in the center of the screen, if you double-click him, you can see the art for him. He's the token with the breath coming out of him, and this creature, which... I'm so sorry. This is the meanest... I'm actually not sorry. I don't mean that at all. This is the meanest fucking boss that we've made. The Fogstone randomly can show up within the dungeon based on certain elements. It didn't go well for Brian. It showed up, it killed him, and it brought him here. Now, on screen, all of you can see the list of names. These are each people who played cards to build this monster to murder the Headless Knight. So, let's see if we can kick this off the right way. With that, Anthony, unfortunately, you get to roll most things in the show, and that means that initiative is rolled first. I need you to give me a D6 plus your agility. A 1 to 3, the boss goes first. And on a 4 to 6, you get to go. So just drop a D6 and let me know what you got.
So you already fucked me from the very beginning. I'm a -2 in agility, dude. All right.
That is your bonus. So the minuses and pluses, but I think almost everything you have is minuses.
So my roll, I rolled a 3, so I have a 1.
That means I get to start, and that makes me very happy. So the way this normally works is you get to move in an action. In this case, I get my move in an action. And for those who don't know, I'm going to read the description for this thing. It's not good for anyone. It is a very nasty looking creature, and it is I think a fan favorite so far. So I wish you the best, my friend. This large crawling creature has oversized arms and wax dripping off of this makeshift body of stitched skin and bone. Out of its mouth, there is a fog that fills this entire room, automatically raising all DRs by 1. Unless you're going to stealth, then it's a little easier. But you suck at that, so I don't think that'll be happening today. When it reaches out its hand, at the end, instead of fingers, is a doll head with hair and sinew that wraps back into the arm as the first gunshot goes off. I need you to give me an agility roll as the cannon goes off, as the doll head spits out this black cannonball, doing its best to take you out in one shot. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to make a roll using your defensive stat. If you pull up your PDF, you can see that you'll roll your agility to defend. I would love to tell you this is a 12, but it's not. It's a 14.
All right. And of course, that's going to happen to me, but
yeah.
14. You've played with me for several years now. You know I roll like shit. So
you do, and I'm very excited about it.
All my prizes are going to everyone a chance to... Oh, not bad. I got a 17 -2.
The cannonball goes out and hits and impacts one of these multiple shelves of large containers filled with this blue and white wax as it pours out all over the floor. I only have one action with this thing. You see the mouth and the arms swallow like a throat as another cannonball loads up. It is your turn. You get one move and one action. In this room, just for clarity for you, there is a door here to the south of you, and it's that door you see an image of. Those are actually delving wooden doors. And then there is a hole here with a ladder that goes up.
All right, so can I use my whip to create... what I essentially want to do is I want to throw my whip as a diversion to create some separation between us and then start booking it.
So are you trying to hit him, or are you trying to be defensive? What's your game plan?
I'm trying to be defensive. I just want to create a diversion to give me some space so I could run.
I mean, I'll tell you what. I feel slightly forgiving because this is a shitty situation. So how about I give you a +1 to your roll? That seems fair.
Yes, that works for me.
Do you know what its verse is still? A 14. So you get a +1. This would be you using, I'm assuming, you're going to be using a strength to strike, kind of making distance.
So that's a +2, right, on my strength?
And then +1 from me.
So +3. And I rolled a 1.
That is the thing that we love to hear on this show. So you know, there are critical failures in here. I'm going to give you horrible options. What we would know as a Frank House dilemma to choose from. Do you, A, want to lose your whip? Or B, lose Rob Schwab's head in the Headless Knight's hand that gives you special attacks? Which would you like to lose?
There's no fucking way I'm losing Rob Schwab's head. First of all, he's on my Mount Rushmore of game designers.
You're carrying Mount Rushmore's head right now.
I can't lose it in the first 5 seconds of the show.
I think it's a perfect thing.
Bye-bye, whip.
So you whip and throw it. The whip is lost into the wax. You see it start to sink. This thing starts to lurch forward. You still have a move. You have a feeling this thing could attack you at a distance with its reach, but it's up to you if you want to risk that. And remember, there's 2 doors, the one to the south here, and then the one that goes over here out of this room. You don't know how you got in here. Those double doors would be here. It's like a top.
Yeah, I'm booking it to the double doors.
You're booking it to the double doors. So you run to the double doors. They are shut. They're splattered with wax on this side.
I knew that was
If you would like, you can try a strength roll to break it open, but I would love to tell you, normally it's a 12. They paid and upgraded this door to be locked. That makes it a 13, and because of the wax, it's a 14. So you need a strength roll of 14, no bonuses. And then we'll get into our next question.
All right.
No deaths yet, audience. No deaths yet. We're working.
Before or after my roll? Because I'm going head first, headless first.
You just need a difficulty 14. You just get your strength bonus.
Let me give it. I get +2 for my strength. All right, I got a 13 +2. That's 15.
You hit the door and it explodes open. Inside this other room, I'm going to give you a little bit of a vision. Now, obviously, the group can see it, but you can't see everything because I have it blacked off for you. It's dark in that room. You have no idea what's there. But I do, and it's even worse. There are a set of stairs that step down into this sludgy, nasty-looking pool. In the pool, at first, you think it's floating bodies, and you realize it is flayed skin and bone floating on this pile of wax and liquid in the room. Now, you can move your character over to that area and put him just past the door, because you can move one room. Or actually, here, I will do it for you. Make it easier. With that, we go into our next question. You get a breather. You're not dead yet. Things are going okay.
I'm not dead yet, is the key.
Don't worry. I still am going to shoot you again. The audience is ready. I know they're ready for this. With that, with all the work that Cypher Unlimited has done between the three of you, you're the official Discord for Monty Cook Games, which must have been just amazing to actually have happen, for them to give you the official Discord. They pimp you guys at conventions when they're there. The CU logo is on things. Like, it's kind of like the dream setup for when you make a Discord. Maybe you don't even think about it right away. But every person from MCG has joined your live streams. I think you've had almost every staff member on.
Yeah, pretty much.
How in the hell did you grow that relationship into what it is now? You blew up overnight with 1,000 people suddenly are following you. How did you grow that business relationship? Is there something like, is your real job that related to that? Or did you take classes? Or did you bribe them? Like,
I'll be honest, we all New Yorkers, and me and Dean especially, we're very loud and opinionated and not scared to go up to anyone. So, you know, you know from knowing me, when I met you, hey, what's up? You know, IGM, and I essentially did the same thing with MCG. Like, you know, we showed up to our first Gen Con and we're like, hey, we're the cool guys.
Yeah.
Follow us. We're going to make it happen. And they took to it. And not for nothing, but everyone in MCG are freaking awesome human beings.
They are.
And there's never been a point in time in our growth or in our process that they weren't willing to help us and promote us, and so it just made it easy.
But yeah, there's I mean, it's even more to that though. Like, just this week you had a meeting with Kate about all their new stuff they have coming up. Last night you did a a stream on Twitch for that, talking about all the new stuff, the new tools coming out, and everything else that's in store. And this company has grown, and you've kind of got to grow with them. Like, do you feel like you're always trying to keep pace with them, or is it feel pretty like homogenous? Like, do you work with each other the entire time, or how does that relationship kind of blossom, I guess, between you two? That's the kindest word I've used on the show. I don't think I've ever used the word blossom unless it's like a flesh flower. But anyway.
I mean, it's obvious that MCG has grown in the last 3 or 4 years. Just that if you look at the Kickstarter numbers alone, they're not releasing a Kickstarter now that isn't close to the millions, and we're talking about 3 Kickstarters a year. So they've obviously grown. So it made our jobs way easier, and having access to them, to bring them on the phone, to get the spoiler content, to get all that stuff, is just giving us growth as well. And I see them growing even further. I mean, you could argue, aside for the 2 big boys, MCG is maybe legitimately the 3rd biggest gaming company.
Oh, top 5 for sure.
Wise, yeah.
So like Magnus Archives to me was like the really big tipping point, and maybe even Gods before that. Old Gods.
Invisible Sun was the tipping point.
Well, you think that was the like thing that everyone realized these people are making shit we don't see everywhere else? That was the moment.
Yeah, because Monty Cook has had a reputation for being a fantastic game designer way before he even started Monty Cook Games. But in my personal opinion, when he designed Invisible Sun, that took his reputation to a whole nother level. Because it was like, hey, not only am I making cool RPG settings and like Tolas and stuff like that, I'm gonna give you a luxury experience in a box that no one was doing outside of like the board game field. You didn't really see that in the tabletop space.
It was definitely a boutique experience. Like, you felt like you were getting a collector's edition, and it was just the game itself.
And once they did that, I think it just brought so much eyes and attention to them. Even if people weren't playing Numenera or the Cypher system, they were aware of MCG, and from there they grabbed the ball and ran with it.
Well, with running, I think that's what your character should be doing here. But,
yes.
Unfortunately, we're into our next initiative round, and I feel like I want the audience to roll this. I know you got a -2 to your roll, so audience, if you can give me a D6 roll in the chat, !1d6, we'll use that for the initiative. I'll give us a quick descriptive scene as they're getting that rolled in chat with a delay. As this creature sees you dash past this, shoot up into a ladder out of the room to the door, bowling through it into the sludge and refuse of what looks to be how they're making their candles. As that happens, the creature lunges, hits the door frame, knocking the door off, and launches another cannon into the room. A 5 - 2 is a 3. On a 1 to 3, our lovely monster gets to go first. None of this is looking too good for you, my friend. I have a bad feeling about how this is going to go. I don't think you have any form of a chance. Now, I'm going to uncover some stuff in the other room here, just because I know the audience is waiting, especially for this room. As it lunges forward and takes its first shot on you, I need you to give me your agility. It is a 14, but you've stepped into sludge in the room, and that makes it a 15.
Okay. -2.
-2.
I got a 7 on the roll, so it's a 5.
I would love to say that is a roll successful of making it, but it is not at all. So with that, everybody, we know how this is going to go. Those who help make this lovely creature, we're going to scroll down here and pull up its magic weapon. It has 5 shots. I've used 1. This is my second shot that I'll be using on you. As the cannon goes off, rips through the door that is flying in the air and splinters the wood. It makes contact with your stone armor filled with the skeleton of our dead headless knight. You may wonder, I get my armor for this, right? You'd be wrong, because it's a gun. And because it's a gun, you don't get armor. As a loud echo shatters through the area. Thank God the only thing that can hear it is Rob Schwab. As we do a D6 plus 2 damage. I need you to roll the damage for yourself.
All right, I got a 5 plus 2, 7 points.
You take 7 points of damage, and you get no armor on that. Feel free to tally it on a sheet of paper or anything like that that you would like. I would like to ask you, how many hit points do you have as the Headless Knight?
I now have 2, I believe.
You feeling safe?
Oh, I'm all right. I'll make it.
You go make it? All right. Well, it is your turn and your action after mine. As it starts to reload, you see the doll and arm swallow again. And you're in this disgusting room. What would you like to do?
If I'm envisioning myself scanning the area, I'm bleeding profusely.
You're undead?
I'm not dead yet.
You're undead. You don't bleed, sir. You are an undead knight in armor.
Oh, that's even better. I'm just standing there. I'm in this muck. I'm looking around, looking at the damage I've taken, and I pull out my the head of Rob Schwab, and I wanted to actually scream.
You're going to try to use Rob Schwab's head?
Yes.
Well, that is amazing. I would like to remind you that this is a presence roll, and your presence, if we look at our lovely knight,
-1.
is not great. And it is a 12, I believe, for your head. Maybe it's a 13?
I thought it was a 12.
It is a 12. You are correct. What do you got for me?
I got a 3 on the roll.
That is not enough, but it's not a 1. As Rob opens his mouth, you realize it is still covered in wax from the previous guest star that was climbing out of the wax vault. The head is coated like a dipped candle. As it goes to scream, you just hear, and nothing comes out. You have a move left.
Yeah, with my move action, I'm going to try to make my way through the muck and try to move myself further away towards the opening of the room 7.
Well, I'm going to wipe a little bit of this room away for you, sir, so you can see what's in it. And I would love to say that this was the smartest plan, but it's not. On the map, I'm going to put our first twisted terrain into play. I know this group has been waiting for this twisted terrain since we made it. This thing is pretty bad. I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to read the description to you, and I'll let people see your reaction to the horribleness that is the the skimmer room. Not shimmering, the skimmer room. This room is filled with water and liquid up to your waist after stepping in. The floors are worn with bubbles floating up from the bottom like a stock pot. The surface is covered with a thin layer of white foam and smells of boiling meat. This room is silent, except for the bubbling of water, blood, and wax, gurgling towards the drain. This thing makes a strike as a skimmer goes across the top of the room to pull all the bones into the other room for making stuff. I need you to give me a DR 13 agility check in this sludge, or get hit by the skimmer and pulled back into the boss room.
But before this whole thing takes place, I look at Rob Schwab's head with a look of utter disappointment for not helping me out at all. And I rolled a 7 minus 2, that's a 5.
That is a failure. So as this arm strikes you, audience, I feel it is only right that you get to roll the damage for this. I need a D6 from you all. He has 2 hit points left. He has a D6 armor. We want a high roll on this. With that said, let's go back to our questions. So I don't think you expected to be in a boiling room by the end of the night with meat, flesh, and wax. But hey, welcome to Corpse Talk.
I've played with you before. It wasn't totally unexpected.
So let's get into something a little more fun. We've talked a little bit about Monty Cook Games and building the community with what you do. And it's a lot of work. But I don't know if it's as much work as being a forever GM. Both of us are forever GMs with heavy improv styles. We build little set pieces. We love redoing movies. I just did the Blob. You did the Stuff back in the day. I even made a stuffed ice cream thing when we played that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And forever GMs is a, I don't want to say thankless job. I guess GM Day just happened, but it isn't looked at. I don't think people know the amount that goes in. But I do believe that every GM wants to be a player at something. And we all have that dream campaign, that dream setting, that dream GM and dream team that we play with. Who would be the GM and players with you?
So tough.
And what IP would you play? What setting would you play? It doesn't even have to be a game yet. But what would you bring to Cypher that you would want someone to run for you?
All right. Can I name 2 things?
You can name whatever the hell you want, man. It's your turn.
All right. One is my brother from another mother, Alfred Dean.
Okay.
I would love to play any Supers game because he's a phenomenal Supers GM.
Okay.
So anything Supers related to play with Dean would be awesome. And Stay Alive with Sean K. Reynolds.
Stay Alive. So you're going to go to the other one. Sean K. running it. Who would be on your team with you? Who's playing with you?
You, because
Aw.
me and you have great chemistry.
Well, I
Al,
mean,
of
look,
course.
at least 2 people in Cypher Unlimited are kids.
So I would say me, you, Al, Shauna Jermaine, and Monty Cook. How's that sound as a foursome?
Sounds like a pretty good dream team.
Yeah.
Being that you are that forever GM like I am, do you have any tips for people joining, playing Cypher for maybe the first time, or really just getting their feet wet for running games? I know you and the boys have put tons of videos together on how to do this, what helps happen, what mechanics are great for being a GM. But is there any tips that you would give people stepping into the role that you think they should have to run a successful Cypher-based game as a GM?
I'm going to give the tip that I give for any RPG, not just Cypher system. You got to do it. The only way you get better at anything, especially improv, is by failing and continue to do it. You have to run. I think a lot of times people worry too much about the prep or whether or not they're prepared instead of just taking that leap of faith and actually doing it. You know, and that applies for pretty much anything in life. We spoke about this before, but you know, the more times you do something, you're going to get better at it. And you know, people talk about the Mercer effect, you know, in that sense of everyone wants to be perfect. Well,
but he's not perfect, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying that everyone wants to aspire to be that perfect GM as opposed to aspiring to tell a good story. And the way you tell a good story is by doing it.
I agree. It is by doing it. I also think that rules are there, and I've said this on many shows, is the love language between you and everybody on the other side of the table playing with you, building this collaborative story. And Cypher, of all things, gets that collaboration aspect right. And it also frees you from having to roll your dice all the time as a GM. There's rules you can roll, but you don't have to roll. And it really does free you and let you do other things in the game. I think my tip would be lean into the GM intrusion, but limit yourself so you don't blow it out of the water. That would be mine. They're like my Frank House dilemmas, but you get to use them. And speaking of dice rolls, I don't like what they rolled. They rolled a 1. That is garbage. That is garbage. But the best part about this terrain that they built is it has a free slaughter card. And a slaughter card is max damage instead. So it's 6.
Of course it is.
You get to make an armor roll, but it's at -1. And the way this works is it's not the D6, it drops it to a D4 for your armor roll.
Oh, of course it does, Eric.
Yeah,
of course.
Of course.
I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2, and I did 6. So that's 4 from me and the audience to you. Are you dead?
I am dead. But
We got
I will be back.
first death, everybody. Boom. With Anthony dying, that means that we get to put our first death on the board. Don't worry, everyone. I have 2 crit cards on the boss. We'll get to that in a minute.
I was really looking forward to this. I got some really cool stuff to give away.
We do. We have some awesome stuff. And the first one's even changed. I have the wrong thing here. So let's go over. Let's talk about what we're giving away before we go into our rapid fire questions. Let me put it on screen. So it's not the starter set. What is it actually that we're putting in?
It's the Cypher System core rule book. This is the book that allows you to play any genre. You have, over 20 different genres you can play. This one book will give you hours and hours of enjoyment.
He says the deluxe, right?
Yes, it's the deluxe core rule book.
So what's the difference between the deluxe and like the standard one that I have over here?
Fancy binding.
Oh, it's sexier.
Yeah, and interior. I believe the interior art is different as well. I think I have a deluxe. Yeah, I actually do. Yeah.
So it is a sexified book, is what you're telling me?
I don't know if you could see this.
Oh, that is pretty. So it's the same art and same style, just not the starter set, it's the deluxe book. That's awesome. Yeah. With that, I am going to showcase the second one so we can get this kill in. I have a feeling he's going to get murdered right away. Do you want to explain the second one that we're going to try to kill the Headless Knight to get, which is the Rust one? This is a new release from...
Rust and Redemption by Bruce Cordell. It's their brand new... Cypher System, they do genre books, and it's called their White series, their White books.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is all about post-apocalyptic. They give you, I believe, over 15 to 20 different post-apocalyptic versions that you can insert into your current games or just run a full campaign on post-apocalyptic. So if you want to play, you want to play Mad Max, you want to play Zombie Apocalypse, and every other shade of a post-apocalyptic setting, it's all in there, and they give you the rules for everything. It's freaking awesome, and it just came out about a month ago.
That's pretty awesome. You, unfortunately, get to make a really tough decision right now. Before we go into our rapid-fire questions, we change up the music. I'm going to put us back to our split screen. On the map, if you could take a look at it, you can zoom yourself all the way out. Anything that is lit on the map, you can decide where your Heartstone is. This is where you run back to from death. So think of it like a corpse run in a video game. Where would you like to be, and where do you want your heart to be? Anywhere on the map. And every room you go through is going to be one quick question with a chance for you to recover one of those hit points.
You know what? I want to go back to 8.
Do you think 8 is the best area for you?
No, it's not the best area for me, but I'm also a vengeful son of a bitch, so I want to...
Okay, I see you. We can take you to 8. Let me grab your heart, pull this up, and we will put it on the map for you. So
everyone's saying don't go in the red room. So
there is so many areas. So now I will tell you, you died. Just like a Souls game. Bosses stay dead. All other monsters respawn. I didn't tell you that at the beginning of the game because I don't like people knowing what's going to happen where they play their stone.
That's fine, because I haven't hit anything since we started.
So room 8 is room 9 as well. It steps up into it. Where would you like to be in room 9? Because 8 and 9 are the same room. It's just a bigger view.
Let's say that
I'll be by the other door?
Yes.
All right. We're going to put you by the other door. I have it on the map. With that, let me pause this music. We are going to go into our rapid fire. This is quick questions, everybody. They are fast, furious. Everyone you get right, you get a hit point back. Now, right now, technically, you only get 2 questions. But I allow you to take questions up to your hit points. How many questions would you like? Do you want 2 or 9? They're fast.
I'll take 9.
All right.
All my hit points.
Here's the worst part. If you get more wrong than right, I get another crit. Super awesome, right? At least I think it is. Let's get the music going. Let's get this up. I am ready to do this, and I
Now I'm nervous.
I don't know. Yeah, you should be. I don't apologize for this. So here's our questions for the show. Neat or on the rocks?
On the rocks.
That is the correct answer. That's 1 hit point for you, good sir. True or false? D&D. Overrated?
Overrated.
That is another
True.
correct answer for you. Next one. Kale or spinach?
Kale.
Wrong. That stuff is garbage. Next question. Do you want a party or a funeral?
Party.
Wrong. It's both. You fail again.
Oh, I didn't know that was both was an option. What kind
man.
of fuck was this?
Just like GMing, you learn from experience, my friend. Next up, true or false? Overrated dragons.
Overrated.
Absolutely. That's 3 hit points for you. What is the best undead? There's only one right answer.
Ghoul.
A ghoul? Incorrect. Incorrect. That is not the best undead. That is far from the best undead. Although I do like ghouls. What is the best writing tool for question 7?
Pen.
Do you have specifics on that one, good sir?
No, I'm a father of 3, so I'm gonna say crayon.
I
Specifically
love the
red.
enthusiasm, but as somebody with no kids, you're wrong. What sea animal would you be, Anthony?
Camel.
A camel?
I'll never go thirsty.
Is it because you never piss? Like what?
I'll never go thirsty. And you love my lovely camel humps.
I hate to tell you this, but that is way incorrect. You only get 3 hit points back. We'll start back with the next one. That was horrible.
These questions were fixed.
They are not fixed. They are truthful statement questions. With that said, we get back into it. You did your quick questions.
Sea animal or sea animal?
Sea animal.
Like sea as in the ocean?
We're past it. You've already not got the hit point.
I thought you said sea animal. Like
S-E-A, not like I see an... Jeez. I gotta take a hit point away. Anyway.
First of all, you should have told me
point
to
for
run
that.
the coke before the show started. This is your fault.
Oh my god. We're back into the dungeon. You clown. With that said, I'm going to move your token back over to here. The bog creature is not
But
in.
you gotta at least, Ayla, before you start, you gotta say my humps, my lovely camel humps.
I'm sorry, you want to sing that again for him?
my humps, my lovely camel humps.
No. So
Okay.
you are standing in front of a set of double doors, or sorry, single door yet again. You can hear the creature turn around. Technically in the room you'd be here as he starts to pull himself around this channel that goes up with a ladder. We have initiative. I'll let you roll since you did so fucking poorly. Give me your D6 with your agility, sir.
All right. Oh, D6, right?
D6 minus your agility.
I got 2 minus 2, so that would be a 0.
A 0, which means I go first. And that means I'm going to move you off of the screen. Let's get this attack roll in. I need you to give me your defense roll of agility minus 2 as it rounds the corner, puts its hand and rounds that baby arm hair sinew canyon and shoots again at you. This is my 3rd shot out of 5. I am doing my best to take you out. What do you got?
I got a 14 minus 2. That would be a 12.
That is not high enough. We're doing damage this time. I'll let you roll it for yourself with your 3 lovely hit points and no armor because it's a boss. I would highly recommend getting the fuck out of this room. But we'll get to that after you take your damage. Are you ready?
It's a D. What's my damage? A
A
D6?
D6 plus 2.
I got a 3 plus 2 is a 5. So
You don't get an armor roll. How many hit points do you have left, my friend?
I already had 3 to begin with, right?
Yeah, you only got 3 back, so you'd be...
I am at -2.
You would be dead again. That's 2 in a row. I didn't even have to use a max crit, everybody. This boss is going to be a killer. That is a death from the boss, everybody. With that said, you know what we're going back to? We're going back to quick questions. I haven't even got to use my crits yet, my friend. You're just dying a lot more than everybody else. With that, I'm going to boot our song back up yet again. Get us ready. But before we do that, let's talk about the treasury. we're going to be putting in our lovely Rust book. And the next one after that, if we can kill you again, so you can see it, is the new board game they came out with. Do you want to explain what that board game is?
Is that Stealing Stories for the Devil?
It is. It is.
That is a beautiful. I might actually have a copy of that here as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, look at this bad boy. Hold, give me 1 second. This is.
Are you gonna go get it?
I have it right here.
You can tell he lives in New York. Everything's within arm's reach.
No, literally, we spoke offline how we doing my bookshelf, and I am lucky enough to get all the MCG products. I don't know if you could see it.
What is this game? I know you guys had a chance to play test it. What is it?
All right, this is a absolutely zero prep RPG session. It's a heist game.
Oh, okay.
Where the players dictate the entire scenario. The GM just takes all the information from the players. They'll decide what the heist is, what kind of characters they're playing, what location it starts with, and there's cards and cues and maps for pretty much anything. This box will contain everything you need to run a cohesive game. This is literally open the box and you'll be playing within 5 minutes. It's an absolutely wonderful game. It's an RPG game. It isn't a board game.
So would you say it's kind of like a mix between like Fiasco and Blades in the Dark with Cypher style storytelling?
Fiasco Blades in the Dark, definitely, but it's more Fiasco Blades in the Dark if they gave you all the cues.
Like everything. Oh,
everything.
So all the is this a good way to learn to GM?
Absolutely.
Would this have been a better answer for us? How to GM? Play
it
this
could have been,
game?
yeah.
We should have. We're off. We missed the mark.
If you look at like if you sit and play a session of this as a player, right? It actually shows you what a GM is thinking about when they're crafting a story, because all the questions that the GM is forced to ask you is questions as a GM you'll be asking yourself. It's a very, very unique game.
That's super fucking cool. Well, not as good as this, though. It's question time. The last question was, what SEA animal would you be? You fucked that up. So we go on to the next one. Let's get our song back up. True or false? Time travel. Is it real?
Yes.
That is a hit point for you. Oh, I forgot to ask you. How many questions would you like?
Give me all of them.
All right, fine.
I mean, the rum and coke is kicking in. I'm embarrassed myself.
What could go wrong? Next one, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
I'm looking at you, Nessie. See, everybody has said this so far. That is a correct answer, sir. Next up, true or false? Books to movies are great.
False.
That is also correct. Most of the time, they suck. They can't even get manga to movies or a series unless, maybe a few of them out there. Next question, true or false? And this is aimed at you, my friend. Space exploration is still important. Knowing what you do for a living, it's an important question.
True. Without a doubt.
Very true. Very true. I'm a huge space fan. Thank you for getting that right. This is the hardest one because I make this up before the show. Which TV family does your family have the most in common with?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Addams Family.
You are the least goth human I know.
No, but if you've seen my daughter...
Where's that going to go?
You would totally understand it.
I did not put the Addams Family. I put if Beavis and Butthead had a family, so that's wrong.
Oh, that's not so bad.
No, it is. They shouldn't breed. True or false? Technology makes us lazy.
True.
False.
No, it's absolutely true.
I disagree with that. I think technology makes those who don't want to be lazy work more and do things, and they don't have to do the stupid shit anymore. You're wrong. It's okay, though. That's 6. Cats or dogs? This is a very easy one. There's only one You are correct. That's 5 hit points for you. Player or GM?
GM.
Incorrect. Ruling overlord. What online store do you shop the most at? What online store do you shop the most at?
I hate to say it, but Amazon.
You should have said MCG to pimp this. You lie and do the right thing. Horrible publicity. That's 9.
That would be lying.
That is 9. You have 5 hit points back. That takes us back to the game, good sir. Audience, can you give me a D6 as I get our next question ready?
I don't know about these questions, y'all. They're encouraging me to fib.
Look. It's very simple. Just like GMing, if you make the rules, you make the questions. So with that said, let's get into another topic. We've beat you up a lot. We still have a couple more ways to murderize the night. You haven't made it out of these 2 rooms. I'll be honest, you've traveled the least distance, but we'll put that.
I lost my only weapon in the first season.
Yeah, you have nothing now. You really did the next person wrong. Let me tell you what. It is going to be horrible.
I blame chat.
You blame chat? So we talked about GMing, and I know we both love the art of GMing. Storytelling is an art form to me. Winning awards and doing all this stuff, I realize there's some things you can pass on. But what I've realized more in the last 3 years of me really diving into streaming stories is running a game at home in person or in person at your friend's house versus a convention game versus streaming are all very different styles of GMing. Do you have something that you put in your head when you sit down to run each one of those games that you could tell other people? Like, when I sit down to run this, I make sure I have X, Y, and Z ready. Do you have kind of a process for running those 3 styles of games?
For online games, definitely. I think I actually do way more prep in an online game than I would do in a home game. I mean, you know what? If I'm just playing with my friends, and we just want a game, I'm showing up with a napkin with a couple of notes on it. If I'm running something for the stream, then there's a lot more effort and work put into it. I'm pre-planning scenes, or I'm thinking of just dialogue cues that I might want to mention at some part in the game. I'm still improv heavy, but there's some prep involved. So yeah, absolutely. A stream game, and I will say this, about 4 or 5 years ago, you taught me a lot about stream GMing on the first stream you ever played with, which you gave me a lot of great advice about scene structure and scene setups that I was doing sort of, but I wasn't paying the attention or focus I should have on a stream game. Because with a stream game, it's not necessarily about the action of the scene. It's about the pace.
Pacing.
And, it's about having a pace, and the transition from scene to scene on a stream game has to be way tighter than any home game or any game you just run for.
You really have to take control. Like when you pass the mic around, so to speak, or the talking stick around, when it comes back to like you need to take over because you're on a time constraint, you have to pass the scene, and your players have to understand, the GM's telling me, cue back in, check into what we're about to do. Thank you, man. That means a lot. But what about at home? I don't run a lot of at-home games, but I did for years. Is your at-home different?
Oh, my at-home is totally different. Al will tell you, because he used to play in my home game. That's actually how me and Al met. And I was very, I'm thinking if it was a pre-written adventure, that's something entirely different. But if I'm just running a game, I basically have a napkin with a couple of ideas on it, and maybe 1 or 2 creatures that I want to implement, and I'm improvising 90% of that.
Yeah, I'm a big improv fan. What made you lean towards improv?
Growing up, I dabbled in freestyle rap, freestyles, and it's the same.
Me?
No,
that's
awesome. I'm actually on a couple of offline. I'm on actually a couple of recorded projects, but and it's the same concept of being able to come up with ideas on the fly, which is what gravitated me towards, basically freestyle GMing. freestyle rap and improv GMing are essentially the same muscle memory. You know, it's the same muscle you're working out.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up with ideas. One is a combination of syllables and rhyme schemes, and the other is a combination of concepts and ideas.
Well, with that, ideas, concepts, and all that, they rolled a 6 minus 2. It means you get to go first, which is the first time for you.
Finally, I got lucky.
So far, the show, audience, don't do that to me. What would you like to do in this room? You have one door in front of you that is locked. The creature took a shot around the corner. Your soul stone is on the ground next to you. How do you want to proceed with your action and your move going first?
Is my move action picking up my soul stone?
No, that's something that at the start of the show it gets put there and you never get to move it again. I left that out. I'm sorry.
All right, if I scan the room, is there anything I could use for a weapon?
Well, right now your whip is on the ground near you, technically, because that is where you dropped it and lost it in the sludge. If you want to try to get it out, you can. I would require a strength check to pull it out, but I'll let you use your action and you can still get your move if you want.
I'll do that. I'm going to scramble through the muck to see if I can find.
It's funny that you mentioned that. That searching through is a lovely check of strength 13. But audience, I need a d6 roll from you because remember, anytime wax is fucked with or fog is in the room, there is a 1 in 6 chance more monsters show up. Go ahead and give me your strength roll. Let's see if you can get this 13.
I got a +2 on strength, right?
Yeah, you're good at this. Yeah, you could do this. I have 0 faith.
All right, I got a 10 + 2.
That's not a 13.
No, it isn't.
But you reach down and start going through the mud. This thing is sunk deep into the mud. What would you like to do with your move? Do you want to try again or you want to try to get out of here? There are other weapons in the world.
This may sound dumb, but can I push myself further in the muck to try to hide?
You want to hide in... hold on. You want to hide in full stone plate mail, holding Rob Schwab's head, still trying to scream in wax. No, you have to hold it constantly. One hand is always occupied by the head. Always.
Oh no, man, I'm not losing Rob Schwab's head in the muck.
No, he's dead. It won't hurt him. It's a severed head.
It's Rob Schwab, dude.
So you're gonna run?
I'm running with the head.
So are you going to go through the door behind you?
The head of my camel humps.
You're going to try to go through the door behind you?
Yes, I'm running. Sprinting it.
Now, this is important. This is a locked door. When you hit this door, immediately you can feel it's locked as you're throwing your force into it. It is a difficulty 13 to bust this open.
Oh, what does a natural 20 do?
I hate you. A natural 20 means times 2 damage, armor protection reduced 1 tier, or PC gets a free attack. I will give you a free attack or a move. Would you like 2 moves? As I move you to the next map?
Yes, I want to go to the next map.
No, buddy, I'm going to let you see this map because I am sorry, you made a poor decision. As we move to the red map that everyone told you not to go to.
Come on, chat. You told me not to go, and yet you still let me.
Yeah, well, they want you to die. Remember, they win prizes. So this is a map by Amalith. Amazing, and I love this map. As you bust through the door, I'm going to put you in the room, and I am going to take care of the shadow that is in here so that you can see. In front of you, there is this large, almost treasure chest-like object. As you bust through the door in the room, a portcullis is in front of you. As I add you back into the scene in room number 3. There you go. There is a loud ruckus in the room for the portcullis. It is shut. It looks like it opens from this side of the room, not the other. You have 1 move or action left. There's a treasure chest that is the size, like up to your chest, and the portcullis in front of you into the next room. What would you like to do?
How big is the treasure chest?
Up to your shoulder on like a small platform. And it's about 4 foot wide, 6 foot tall. Because you're almost 7 foot tall.
I'm going to try to open that bad boy up.
All right, then you move into the room. I'm going to need a strength check for you to pop this. It is a difficulty 15. But if you open it, I promise.
Did not make it. I got a 10 plus 2.
As you're fighting behind you, monsters in this have a move distance. And this creature can technically move 2 rooms. But it does not follow you. You see it walk up behind you with its good hand shut the doors. It doesn't seem like it wants anything to do with this room. And you hear it get castled on the other side. You're now stuck in this room. I would like to offer you your first crit question. With a crit question, you can get a reroll, basically an omen if you would like. And you could reroll this strength check to open this. Would you like your first crit question?
Absolutely.
Now, the rule is if you ask for the crit question, you don't answer it, I get to crit you, which is apropos with the item that's in the room. You ready for the first one? In your Discord community, which people are in here, I would like to remind you. Who is the one person besides the 3 of you or myself that you would kick out of that Discord if there are absolutely no fucking repercussions?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
You can say no, but I get to crit you with whatever's in this room.
Well, see, I want to answer it, but I don't really have, in all honesty, I really don't have that many negative interactions.
Are you kidding me? That is, no, you gotta, there's always someone.
I don't know if it's because of, our status on the server, but I've had very little confrontation. In the 5 years that we've had the server, we've only kicked 4 people out.
Out of almost 8,000 people?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, not counting bots, like that's a given, but like actual physical people, we've only kicked 4 people out.
Does that mean you're taking the crit because you don't have an answer?
No, I want to answer. I'm just trying to think if there's anybody that I really can't stand on the server.
Don't make me start a timer.
Yeah, kick the timer on. It's like poker. I need a second here.
You got 10 seconds.
Fuck.
You thought I wouldn't have a timer ready. You're fucking wrong.
I don't mind the hard questions. I literally don't know.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Time's up. That means that you don't have an answer to this question, which means you get crit. As you are fighting with this thing to open it, it starts to glow. All the metal gets molten hot and melts in the room, leaving only the stone panels left behind. As they drop, they start to form into armor, mirroring you. As it forms this makeshift-looking headless knight and strikes you. Because it's a crit question, you take max damage, which is 9 points. You get your armor roll. It's a D6 minus 1.
Alrighty.
This might be the last kill. We might get the last item out of the gate here.
I got a 6 minus 1, so a 5.
How many hit points you have left? 5?
That would give me 4. No, I had 5.
5.
Yeah, I had 5. Yeah.
I did 9.
That gives me 0.
You have 1 hit point. Right? 5 damage. You have 5 on your armor. Oh no! I did 9 damage.
Yeah.
You have 1 hit point. I hate you. You should have died during this. We're trying to get this last kill, everybody. Because this last book, I know everybody wants.
Yeah.
With that, this is not a boss, unfortunately. That means it's a trap, and you get to go first. The door behind you is locked.
Finally, something.
There's a lever next to the portcullis to get out. What would you like to do before we go into our next question?
There's still no opportunity for me to open this chest.
It's open. It turned into the stone knight armor. It literally melted and turned into it.
Oh, I thought it was around the chest.
No.
Also, I'm gonna pull that freaking lever.
So
I'm
you
pulling
run.
that lever.
So you move and pull the lever. Are you gonna walk into the room with the rest of your move to be in here?
Yeah, I'm walking in the room with Robert Schwab in front of me.
Now, this thing can turn around and follow you, and I'm gonna offer you the second crit question if you would like an action to close the port cutlass behind you.
I'll take the second quick question.
Boy, you say that, but I don't know if that's actually true. Now, I told you the questions on the show. The crit ones are not friendly.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I know you rep for Monty Cook Games, and we have talked a lot about them during the show and privately. But if you could have one product remade from Monty Cook Games, just deleted and redone, what would it be and why?
Unmasked, hands down, not even close.
Do they know that?
Yes, absolutely. We rated all the books, and that was the only negative rated book on the entire show.
Now, that's something we should actually talk about. I'll let you close that port cutlass behind you with the free action to bring the worst scene of the entire game we have built out in front of you. But you all are very honest on your streams. You do not pull punches. You are tactful, but you're honest about it, and they still support you guys. Do you find that like transparent honesty has worked really well for you in MCG?
When we first started, and this is a credit to them, when we first started doing our videos, and we were originally interviewing members of MCG and doing book reviews and stuff like that, and then we more transitioned into a full interview show and like us BSing on camera.
Mm-hmm.
But when we first started, we were doing actual book reviews and breaking down books, and all three of us can honestly say they've always told us, hey, give your honest opinion, and it's Sean, Monty, Shauna, Bruce, they've all said, hey, if you don't like something, say it. And they actually watch our videos. I know for a fact that Sean does. And
Sean's good dude.
He takes our critiques, whatever we say, good, bad, or indifferent, and he builds off of it. He understands where we're coming from, and they've always told us to just, hey, be honest. It's nothing personal. We're not taking it personally.
Do you think you would have had this relationship if they told you otherwise? Like, would you have done it still?
Probably not, to be honest.
But you think that's like the deciding factor for you guys as a group? I know you can't speak for the other two. They may be in chat, but
yeah. I mean, I think we just all love Cypher System and Monty Cook Games in general. So we probably still would have did it, but we probably wouldn't have the relationship that we have with them if they didn't let us. To be honest,
that's actually. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That's awesome. You don't get that. Like, as someone who streams and does reviews and works with companies and in the past working for like larger corporate 5s and 1s, you don't get to do. You have to like kiss some painted toenails, man.
We never feel like we have to walk on eggshells around anyone on the MTG team. They very say what you want to say, do what you want to do. They let us do whatever the hell we want. To be honest,
they are some of
the.
They
never told us no on anything.
They're some of the nicest people in the industry I've met, like without question. It's like they help kind of pimp Gamehole Con. They rent that floor out. They've done a lot of stuff there. It's been really cool to see them grow. Speaking of growing, I'm so sorry. In this room, this is the most powerful, most dangerous room that we have made. In this room is what is known as a god skin. The world of Corpse Talk is made from where all the gods used to meet, and this aberrational horror has grown through it. As your head, the Headless Knight, original head, was the voice of creation. And without it, stolen from your sarcophagus, things have went awry. The God Skin is a difficulty rating 15 creature Morale of 12 cannot be shook like the boss you just fought walked away, as he is too scared to be in this room. Here is the description of this godskin in this red crimson tower that you were in the top of. Born out of the hollowed husk of a dead god's skin, and the crimson ocean left behind in its death, as crabs and crustaceans crawl over, through, and around the remnants of this dead god. I have not had anyone come to the Crimson Ossuary, and no one has fought this creature. I need a D6 roll from the audience as we do our last question for the show before we dive into this. Hoping we can get one more kill out of this. I'm pretty sure we can, considering the fact that, I don't know, it's a deity. Just saying. Yeah. We'll even do some rapid fires at the end if you die. But this is a fun question. We talked a lot about MCG and how we GM and what we do and everything else, but you have maybe one of the coolest fucking places to work. Are you allowed to talk about that on streams? Do they have any?
Yeah, I have no.
Can you please, for all the space people who are here, tell us not only where you work, but what the fucking building is and what is there? It is wild for those that are not native to New York. What do you got?
Am the maintenance director for the Intrepid Museum. We're a military museum in the heart of New York City. Actually, we're an aircraft carrier in the middle of the west side and of New York City. We have the only actual space shuttle in the East Coast that you can actually go on. We have a nuclear submarine. It's a fantastic job. I get to mess around with a bunch of cool stuff every day. You know, there's not many places I can say, hey, I was in a space shuttle, a submarine, an aircraft carrier, you know, the Blackbird, you know, literally every day. So, yeah, it's a great place to work.
How in the shit did you land working here? And is every day still kind of feel like a dream when you walk in? Like, are there still those moments where you walk through and go, like, you go on vacation, come back and go, that's a fucking Blackbird. I'm on an air. Like, do you still have those moments?
I mean, to be honest, now it's kind of it's a lot more exciting for someone when they first hear where you work at than it is for someone that's been working there for 20 years. So I can understand the excitement, but it is still hella cool. And you know, I run the operations I'm the director of operations and maintenance. So you know, it's not as glorious when you're ordering toilet paper. And
also it's a lot of old shit that gets broken. So I guess your job's probably really busy.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy bringing people there and like walking them through when you have your friends? I know you've offered that to me when I'm out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you know, like someone to see the space shuttle for the first time, to see the actual size of this thing. You know, it's
huge.
It's really huge.
I'm lucky. I've got to see a lot of shuttle launches throughout my younger years.
Do you have just to see the look on their faces is pretty cool.
Do you have a memorable moment from working at this place, like that you always share when you talk to people?
Do you guys remember Hurricane Sandy?
Sure, that's my mom's name. Absolutely. Oh, you mean the actual hurricane? Never mind.
Yeah, there was a hurricane that pretty much knocked Manhattan out of commission.
Yeah,
and some parts of Queens where we literally, I was stuck on the ship. It was the only time that the ship was, you know, the weight of the Intrepid, since it's been on the pier for so long, it's actually sitting in the ground. It's in water, but it's actually dug into the ground. It was the only time the ship actually lifted, and our entire pier was covered in water, and I was trapped on there for 2 days.
Oh no, I was trapped on a museum with plenty of food and things to do for 2 days. A vacation from my family. Oh, you son of a bitch.
So that was probably. Oh, also, we had a bubble. The original housing for the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Was it was actually an air bubble. Since we lost power because our entire pier, that bubble collapsed and ripped. So it was very traumatic because that was 3 years of work for not only myself but the entire museum, and we watched it go up in smoke in a matter of minutes.
So I have a lot of friends that worked in the Navy, and most aircraft carriers back in the day were used as a source of power in case cities lost power. Does this one not have any of the working parts? Is it just a husk?
I wouldn't say it's a husk, but all our power came from outside.
It's not inside out.
Yeah, Con Ed generator, plus we had our emergency generator was also outside.
Is it still technically seaworthy?
No.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Like, does it run still? Would it be where you would go if the zombie apocalypse happened?
I actually ran a game using the actual schematics of the Intrepid on the server several times. It was a one shot called God Doesn't Love Us Anymore. I ran that thing like 5 or 6 times.
You need to write that thing and just publish it.
Yeah.
that is awesome. With that said, we're down to our last round for you, good sir, to round out our show. They rolled a 3.
Okay.
And this is a god. So, on this map, crabs crawl out of it and start skittering across the floor as this thing reaches through the wall and starts to climb out. To the right, you hear, or your side of the screen to the left over here, there is this loud sound of metal on metal through whatever this doorway is over here, as a spurt of acid covers the door, melting it. This creature walks into the room, crumpling the tower behind him. There is no way this place is safe. With that, I get to go first. And man, oh man, we as an audience, I think, have been waiting to use this god for some time. There are so many cards on this thing. And it is really bad. The god roll, I get an extra D4 to my armor if you do hit me. So I'm rolling a D6 and a D4. Good luck. You don't have a weapon.
Or not.
Yeah, you don't have a weapon. I get 2 attacks instead of 1. One of the only creatures in the game that get 2. I have blood crabs that come out. And I'm going to start with... I'm going to start with a room-clearing swipe with my arm. Can you please give me your agility roll to dodge? It looks like a kite fluttering across the room, filled with crustaceans, as it covers the entire room as the arm stretches awkwardly to fill it.
I got a 15 minus 2, so that would be a 13.
That is not enough. And, unfortunately, this thing does some of the most damage in the game.
Of course it does. Why wouldn't it?
Hey, you could still survive. There's no plus to it. If that makes you feel better, there's no plus. But it is 2d10.
Ooh. I want chat to roll my 2d10.
No, you're rolling it because you also get an armor save.
Oh, come on. Chat rolls better than me.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You can have your armor save. Roll your d6. Audience, can I get 2d10 from you? And I'm just going to... I know you're going to fail this. There's no way.
I got a 3 on the d6.
All right, you're going to take 3 off of whatever their 2d10 of damage is. As we get ready to wrap up our show here, we'll go to our rapid-fire questions and our last death here in a minute, because I just don't think there's a way you survive this. There is a weapon to fight this thing so far, but no one has found it. I think it's 1d10 apiece. A 5. That's 5. Come on, we need a 10. One more d10 for a 10. We need to take him
We need
out.
a 2.
No, 4. 9 points. What did you get for your armor?
I got a 3.
9 minus 3 is 6. How many hit points you got left?
I got 0. I had 6.
That means you are dead.
Muerto.
With that, that is our last death for the show. Let's go over to our cam. Let's talk about the last things I put in. I know that so many people were excited for this book to finally fucking release. I have not had the honor of playing it, but I have written 3 adventures for it. And that's Old Gods of Appalachia. Do you want to give us kind of like a... I know you ran this, but it's very different. It's like nothing else they've done.
It's Cthulhu meets Appalachian lore is the best way to describe it. and it spans 3 different generations. I should also have a copy. I do have a copy.
So wait, well, hold on. It spans 3 different generations. How does that work?
This I'm not sure if this is a deluxe version,
Woo.
but this is an absolutely beautiful book.
So 3 generations? How? What time frame?
It covers the 1920s if you want to play in that era. It covers the 1800s if you want to play in that era, and it covers modern time if you want.
What have you ran? What did you run when you ran it? What game did they
ran
get to
the
play?
1920s.
And like, what's the synopsis of what you ran so people know what this is?
I ran the pre-written adventures I'm also like you. I've never actually gotten to run or play this. I've only ran it at conventions, but it's essentially gothic horror with a southern twist to it.
Yeah,
which
so
is hella cool.
It's the Appalachian Trail is what it's based around. And the other thing I would like to tell everybody, it's based on a really good podcast. Like a phenomenal really good podcast. Yeah. And I really
that's another thing we didn't touch on is MCG has been capitalizing on these wonderful podcasts and converting them into setting books. And Old Gods Appalachia was an extremely successful podcast that they raised $1 million on a Kickstarter for, and then they followed that up with the Magnus Archives, which should be coming out sometime at the end of the year, which was another super successful podcast.
Yeah,
that they made a ton of money on a Kickstarter with as well.
Do you have a favorite out of all these games that they've made so far? Before we do our last rapid fire, for you to determine
a favorite MTG book.
Yeah, what's your favorite?
My favorite setting is Numenera, but my favorite book is Stay Alive by Sean K. Revit.
Horror, baby. The horror mechanic, I've taken that into every game. With horror, you have a very difficult, and it determines who you are as a person, as a player, as a GM. How many hit points do you want to leave the next guest with? Brian was
nice enough. I want to leave them as much as I possibly can.
You're just like Brian. You're way too kind. That means you get 9 rapid fire questions. You might get through all of these. Are you ready for your rapid fire to close out our show?
Absolutely.
All right, man. You say that. Best die in TTRPGs. What is the best die?
D10.
Wrong. It's a D12. How the fuck how could you even say that?
D10, man. I've always liked the D10.
Disappointing. Rollmaster or 4th edition D&D?
Rollmaster.
You are correct. It's 1. True or false? Public libraries are a goner.
True.
I hate that is true, and a lot of people in chat will be upset, but that is very true.
I don't know. In Wisconsin, the libraries, libraries and public libraries are not even open on Sundays in New York.
I know, it's really, some of ours are. It's really weird.
I mean, you would figure Saturday and Sunday is the only time kids could go to the library, and
they're like, man, fuck those kids.
On Sundays
we have football to watch. So that was your true or false. Beard or no beard?
Beard.
You are correct. You should have one. You're not allowed to have one because of work?
No, it gets too freaking itchy.
You got to grow it out.
My wife is the biggest fan of the beard. I try every few months, and then
this is a very special question as you lean off camera. Favorite word to use?
Fuck.
Correct! Shauna would be proud of you. Fork or spoon?
Fork.
Correct. Someone said spork. I almost reached through the screen and stabbed them.
I need something to protect myself in case of the zombie apocalypse.
Backgammon or checkers?
Checkers. Fuck
Neither. They're not RPGs. And we're back to the beginning.
Questions.
We're back to the beginning. Let's see how well you remember the questions for the second round. You're the first to make it through. We're at 4, 5, 6, 7. Neat or rocks?
Rocks.
You are correct. See if you remember. True or false? D&D, is it overrated?
Overrated. True.
You are correct. Leaving the next person with 6 hit points. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. So you brought four things in, 4 items brought from Monty Cook Games. Thank you so much for that. Is there anything that you want to pimp before we leave besides your Discord channel, which I'll put in chat again?
Yeah, if you want to hear a bunch of idiots just BS a chat about gaming in general, I know we talk mostly about Cypher System, but we all poly gamers. We play a ton of games. Check out our Twitch channel. We stream every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Or go to our YouTube channel and check us out there. We usually play whatever we stream, and we do some actual plays. And sometimes we have people from MCG running us through games, and we have people like Eric coming in and embarrassing himself on our stream and our actual plays. So you can see him, and you can see me running Eric, and I could torture him like he did me today.
I haven't been on your stream in quite some time. I feel like I should come back at some point.
Oh,
Dean and I can talk about kicking bones out of people's asses. That's actually just Dean, not me. Anthony, I just want to say thank you for joining as my friend and someone who's made a community that, honestly, in the tabletop space is very rare to see. It is one of the most positive communities that I have ever been a part of. You just ran your first convention with Cypher Unlimited, and another one is around the corner coming up. The boys have just kind of crushed any form of expectation or milestone of what you do. I'm excited to see more from you all and to see you at the next convention. I know you won't be at GaryCon, but I sure as shit will. For those of you who want to see what they're doing, check out their Discord. They do amazing things, like they said. There are so many different things to do within that. They have every game under the sun from MCG, and honestly, there's more games there to play than you have time for. Just Invisible Sun is like unpacking your luggage. It's nuts.
That's the one thing I don't have behind me.
Yeah, because it would be the screen.
I do own 7 cubes. I just don't have any of them behind me.
So thank you for joining us. If you want to stay in the wings, I'm going to close us out here and go over to the solo cam. Wave bye, Anthony, to the audience. And thank you for dying so many times tonight. Everybody, that is 4.
Yep, and I'm just happy to give away stuff. And we'll talk about offline about me adding something additional from the CU for you.
Maybe for the raffle treasury at the end of the season?
Absolutely. We'll commit to something. We'll commit to something hella cool.
There's going to be
talk offline.
You guys get to show up when we do our treasury. We're about halfway through the season. I'm going to cut over to me for the end of this.
And, hold on. One thing. Chad is mentioning the sea camel. That is a thing. We will make a sea camel in Cypher System.
Before I forget, and I was going to close, and I forgot as we go slightly longer, someone did ask a question in chat for you. What was that question? Chance to enter. What do we have here? Oh. In seriousness, what are your biggest influences of media for games you like to run?
Oh, that's easy. I'm a huge B-movie fan. So I love B-movies. So I want the Corbins. I want the Run Shores. I want I want those obscure movies from the 70s and 80s that only a few people have seen, and I want to twist it and warp it into my own crazy kooky version of a one-shot. That's what I love to do the most.
Then I'll tell you what, After Hours, that'll be our topic for our animated After Hours. We'll talk about movies, B-movies, and what we love, because I know we're both big fans of horror and B-movies in general. Wave bye as I cut over to me. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us for another Corpse Talk. If you want to get in on the chances to get these treasury items, it's very simple. Before each show, usually the same week, we do creature creation. You pick up Streamloot cards, and those cards allow you to help us build these monsters. You may have seen lists of names on screen. Every time one of these things kill our headless knight, you get an entry into the treasury for the end of the season. Over on this side here, there's going to be a video to watch. I'm guessing this is probably Cyberpunk, or maybe ETHAUNTIA Superstitions, our 2 live shows. And on the other side over here is that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 500 so we can do some amazing things on the YouTube channel. And hopefully the algorithm will decide that we are not schmucks just killing people. No, they're still going to think that. Anyway, thank you for joining Corpse Talk, everybody. Have a great night, and I will see you all Monday for Cyberpunk at 8 p.m. CST. Turn it up to 11, everybody.